Welcome back to Cooking with Parker. Today we're going to be making some homemade pizza, something fun, simple, easy to do, better and cheaper than most of your store-bought varieties. So I'm kind of showing you my method and practices. I'm going to be making a simple cheese pizza today. But one of my favorite things about pizza is all the varieties, so you can look forward to more on that. Hope you enjoy.
Here's a quick teaser, a few of the items I'm going to use for this video.
To start off, we're going to get 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and then we'll have 2 cups of bread flour. I like using the combination of these, kind of gives you a nice chewy and crispy crust. Some people say you gotta, measure, get exact grams, but I think with pizza dough, it's not really an exact science. Most of the time, it says adjust your flours and water as needed, so just grab a couple scoops of my flour, kind of save some time. Next, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. This will give a nice balance of flavor. Add 1 package of instant dry yeast directed to my flour mixture. About 1.5 cups of warm water. As you saw, it's 110 degrees. Doesn't need to be exact, but want it warm so it activates, but not too hot to kill the yeast. Slowly pour that into my bowl as I got it slowly mixing. Finally, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of olive oil. That'll be everything for our pizza dough. We're just going to let this work in the mixer for about 10 minutes. Crank it up a little bit. It's been about 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and check it. It's pretty loose right now, so we want it to come into a kind of tight ball. But while I'm at this point, go ahead and prep my area that I'm going to roll it out on later.
Well, as my scoops were a little bit short, so I add some more all-purpose flour.
Again, checking it. It's pretty sticky still, so not quite ready to come out. I wanted to mess with it because I'm impatient, but after going here, I decided I need to work it a little bit more. Just let the mixer do the work. You can knead it by hand, but it's a lot easier in the bowl mixer. Finally, after about 10 minutes, it's ready to go. It's pretty tight now, so take this off my dough hook. Go ahead and put this on my I've got a pizza stone I'm going to use later. Nice surface to use to work it as well. So just kind of get in a nice little ball. Grab a large mixing bowl. I've got some olive oil on the bottom there. Place that in, get it all stirred around so it doesn't dry out.
Wrap this in plastic wrap. You can use a towel as well, but the plastic wrap kind of creates a better seal, helps it rise a little bit faster. I'm going to pop this in my oven. Just kind of a warm area. The oven's off. Let this rise for about 2 hours. Go a little bit shorter, go longer, but you just want it to double in size, more or less. There it is. Give it a nice punch. Kind of deflate the air. Fold it all up. And then we're going to flour our surface so it doesn't stick. Once that's done, grab the rest of our dough. We're going to knead this just a handful of times, kind of bring it back together. Get it nice and smooth, a nice smooth ball. I'm gonna cut my dough into 4 equal portions. You can leave it as 2, make kind of 2 normal large pizzas. I'm making personal pizzas for myself. So use a bench scraper or pastry cutter. And we're gonna take the portions, put it into nice little balls as well. Just wanna work these till they're nice and smooth. You can kind of roll it around on your hand or tuck it in, kind of push it in to itself like this. Either method works. So there we go, nice 4 smooth pizza dough balls. This time I'm gonna cover it with a towel, let it rise for about 10 minutes. Jump right into making a homemade pizza sauce. I'm gonna start with garlic paste. So take a clove of garlic and we're just gonna crush it real fine. If the board is slipping around like mine was, just put a wet towel underneath. So garlic paste is just gonna be nice, smooth. Just crush that down. Add the garlic to my pot, and then we're gonna add about half a cup of red wine. Got a Pinot Noir right here. I like using alcohol in my cooking, but if you don't like that, you can always omit it. It just adds an extra kind of depth of flavor, some complexity. I add an 11-ounce can of diced tomatoes. You can use whole tomatoes or fresh tomatoes if you like, but I find these kind of just give a nice balance. And using about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning, just measuring this in my hand. Doesn't have to be exact. Last, I got tomato paste, about a tablespoon. I pulled this out of my freezer, so you might be able to tell, but you just make sure you get the tomato paste in there. I'm gonna grab an immersion blender, and blend this till it's pretty smooth. You can leave it a little chunky, but.
And give our pizza sauce a taste. Nice, you got that, a little bit of that wine flavor coming through, but it's gonna cook the alcohol out. Missing a little something, need a little bit of sweetness. And just add another kind of sprinkling of sugar to balance the flavor. So, nice homemade pizza sauce.
Sorry, I forgot to say I left that simmer for about 20 minutes to thicken up and cook out the alcohol. Dust our surface with some cornmeal. This will help give it some extra texture, flavor to the pizza dough. Keep it from sticking as well. Here's our dough ball. Just doing one today. Make it nice for our cheese pizza. Gotta pat this out. All sorts of ways to get it flattened out. I like to use a rolling pin. Throw it up in the air like professional as well. Sorry, out of the shot, but it only does so much, so I just use my hands, rolling pin until I get it into the size and shape and thickness I want. I use my fingers, create some dimples that'll kind of give some of the air pockets you love in a good pizza. And I'm gonna add my pizza sauce that I cooked earlier. Spread a nice thin layer, nice thick, rich pizza sauce here. I'm using some shredded mozzarella cheese. Some videos or recipes will say you gotta shred your own. I don't really buy that. I think, it's got the anti-caking agent, but it works just fine for a good pizza topping. Get a nice even covering of that. And same, I've got some Parmesan cheese, give it some extra flavor. Just sprinkle that on there. Add some pre-minced garlic. There's always a balance between knowing when to use fresh versus dried ingredients or pre-done ingredients. Not an exact science to it. Just kind of go with what my gut tells me. So the sauce, I wanted fresh garlic. To top it, using this pre-minced garlic. I'm using some dried Italian seasoning here. You could use individual spices or fresh ingredients, but I think mixes are great. This is cooking with Parker, not with a master chef, so just kind of showing you how I do it. Finally, I brush my crust with olive oil. Just gives a nice extra shine, some flavor. So, gonna grab my pizza stone. I preheat that in the oven. If you don't have a pizza stone, you can always just use a baking pan. But pizza stone's a nice tool to have. While I have a pizza stone, I don't have a pizza peel, so I'm using my really big cookie spatula to place that on my stone. I'm gonna grab my oven mitts again. Pop this in the oven. I got my oven almost as high as it can go. I think about 500 Fahrenheit. Just really help give a nice crust to the pizza. Get the cheese nice and bubbly, melted. Set a 10-minute timer. Check it about halfway through. It's looking nice. Timer went off. I gave it a few more minutes, probably about 13 minutes in total to get it to this color. So you can always go a little bit more, a little bit less based on your personal preference, but I think this is about perfect. There it is, beautiful golden pizza. Couldn't find my pizza cutter, so I'm just using a chef knife here. Not the best for the tools, but gets the job done. Look at that, it's gooey, cheesy. Just what you want on a good cheese pizza. The crust has nice crisp to it.
Let's go ahead and get a bite of this cheese pizza. Straight out of the oven, nice and hot. Got that homemade pizza sauce with a little bit of that undertone of wine. And the bread, or the pizza crust, has a little bit of chew from the all-purpose flour. Nice crust from the bread flour, kind of the best of both worlds. Telling you, there's lots of different ways to make homemade pizza, but this is one of my favorites.
Hope you come back as I make a buffalo chicken pizza, I take on a Hawaiian pizza, and a Nutella fruit dessert pizza.